Toni Short, an Australian woman I've never heard say,
Good day, mate.
but I have heard her say, let's build a portal to the divine through creativity. She's the kind of woman that makes you feel seen, and then asks you, what do you want to build with that feeling?
Okay. Don't forget this is more than just about me. This is about all those other women, and their voices. Because often we're all telling the same story, but there's such uniqueness to how they tell their story. And I think that's what is important to me.
That's me editing, and that's the woman I'm telling you about. Toni Short. But anyways, let's stop breaking the fourth wall and get into the story of collective radiance. So Toni, tell us, why did you start collective radiance?
It all started, I think back in 2018 or something, when I kind of hit rock bottom and I was using all these different artistic creative things to help me heal. And as I was going through that, I realized that writing stories about myself and what happened was starting to become not as exciting as actually maybe talking about what I had done to move through the messy stuff. And then I started to realize there were so many stories about women out there that had done the same thing, that had overcome their circumstances or changed their life. And it really inspired me to talk about them and to give them a space to showcase what they had done using creativity or other things to make their life better.
Perfect.
And then show up in the world, which gives other people permission to do that. And then before you know it, that energy, which you've all felt, like it just bounces around the room, and that's what makes it special for all of us to be like, it feels good, it feels different, you can feel the difference. And that sort of trust level in yourself, that you know when something's off and you know when something's cool. Thank you so much. We're going to start off with a little grounding, and we're going to offer you all an invitation to close your eyes. And we're going to bring all of our full selves into this room so we can hold space for our sisters and for the light. Tuning into your breath, to the rise and fall of your chest, to the sound of your heartbeat. And the calling from your soul. You have arrived. You are enough. And all that is left is you. In the fullness of who you are, what you bring, the expanse of your mind and your heart and your soul. Find another breath and go deeper into that tiny space in the back of your heart, the space that you don't often show to anyone. Let's breathe into that. That it is safe and you are safe and you have everything you need. The space that you take up is yours. In fact, the more we be who we are, the more that opens to us the limitless energy and truth that flows through us all. Breathing in. And release.
off with, taking some space, spreading out your legs, and then kind of just leaning back and forth on each foot, just slowly rocking from right to left. Twist our body with our hands and fists so that we lightly tap our lower back. Everyone's doing a great job. Congratulations, that was our warm-up. You are now warm. So we're ready to go. Let's go, everybody. Can we turn that up some more? Thank you. I love the energy in this room. So now that we've activated our energy, we're in our power. So let's dance in our power. Feel our power. Let's clear out what's not ours. Say to yourself, I love myself. I trust myself. I value myself. I honor myself.
So I wanted to share the next panel to talk about what it means to be an artist at different stages of your career, and then also the concept of how do you show up every day to generate not only work within the work and the art itself, but then how do you get business? How do you get yourself out there? So I would like to introduce, the topic of how beautifully you open up the space for others to learn and to learn about maybe less of the craft of photography, but in terms of, how to get clients, how to network, how to be a person that shows up in a space and comes from that fullness versus comes from that hungry of what am I going to get out of, where's the business card? So how did you learn that? How did you transcend that? And what was the journey and how you then started creating the community around that?
It was my first introduction to sales and marketing and this concept of networking. I was fascinated. So I started hosting my own networking events in 2015. I was tired of going to other people's events where they just give you a name tag and tell you to go talk to people. I'm like, people need a little bit of level of structure and curation there. If you've come to any of my events, you know that you don't just get a name tag and you're tossed to the wolves. I have icebreakers, there's facilitation. I try to curate and introduce people to each other in the room. To do business, we don't just hand out business cards and expect sales to come.
One of the things that I love about Z that, from the videos that you make to the way that you create different pieces of art, so you really generate your own revenue income streams, and the creativity that goes into that, I think, is a talent and inspiration in itself. So tell us a little bit about how your journey started, how these things came to you to know to move in that way, because not everybody is taught about these types of actions. Please, take it away.
I was never really excelling much in the school world per se, but I always loved learning things. I always loved trying new things and just expressing myself in various forms. When it came down to getting out of high school, it was a matter of blind faith. Showing up and just doing what you like will lead you to something that you can build a career off of, or you can really find a true passion in. And I think that's kind of what saved me at the same time, not having those expectations. And I try and definitely promote curiosity as much as I can. You're not gonna get anywhere without curiosity. Ask the questions, don't just look for the answers, but explore the process of questioning. We all have so many things that are going on in our lives outside of this space. We all have our own different stories and trials and tribulations that we surpass every day. By the end of the day, we're still here, and we're attentive to where we're at, and we're not distracted by that, so we can really appreciate where we're at.
Okay, Carmen, how did art come to you? You have a language to your art. How did it start telling the stories about your family, the different places you've grown up, you've lived, you've done things? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
In Canada, I discovered a therapy called primotherapy. When I did the therapy, something really unlocked inside myself. I became an artist, and one day, I will never forget this. I'm sitting by a willow tree, and I'm doing my thing, and it was in the line. Something just took over me, and that was my voice. When you're a child in the world, you connect with everything. And we can't be children again, but we can go back, connect with that primal state. And that is what my work gives me. It gives me that intense connection.
Thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what's next for Toni Short?
I love that. What's next? What's next? Well, I'm working on a book, so I'm working my first memoir, my first novel, and that's really exciting. It's called My Love Affair with a Tyrant. And what's really amazing is I'm actually writing it from the perspective of my teddy bear that was part of that experience for 3 years and witnessed everything. That's him up there, Archie, in the window.
Oh, yeah.
And he...
Say hi, Archie.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. He's very, he loves being part of all this.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, again, using different things to, like, express the things we've gotten through, because a lot of people have been through the same stuff. So I'm working on my book. And then I would love to take, you know, the concept of collective radiance on a tour and really go to other towns, other places, and just meet people from different places and be able to showcase them and have a couple of documentaries I'm working on, so a whole bunch of things.
Wow.
Just keeping myself busy and making music.
Damn,
Yes.
she's going to the studio tonight. So if there was one thing you could say to the next generation of creatives, of women that are going through something similar to what you went through, or trying to find themselves in the world and trying to find themselves in a world that tries to limit creativity, what would you say to them?
I would say follow your heart and remember that anything that feels off is probably off, and maybe talk to other people or find some way to express it, because often maybe in the process of creativity writing, you know, some of the answers make themselves available to you. So, you know, my gut is we always know, and so it's learning how to trust that.
Very true.
Mm.
Great.
That was beautiful.